Your screen.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Beautiful.
Okay. I just want to. Yes. Many times, a number of times, people ask me to give a lecture, have an interview, etc. And normally, the last few years, I have declined to do that because I think we have said almost everything, but we have not put it into practice. And I was hesitant when Tsai asked me to do this, but later I took the challenge. So I call it working, not working together for a common cause. But let me start with something simple that provokes people. If people cannot say your name, it begins like that. If you have a Muslim name, Muhammad, Ahmed, etc., people would not say your name. So you feel like the people are really not interested because it begins from there. So please be sensitive in saying the name of a person correctly. The aim of this is not to dwell on the past or to just put blames, and it is just to avoid making mistakes again and again. As they say, history does not repeat itself, but people keep repeating themselves again and again. And it's also to look into the past and move on. We talk a lot about working together, but we don't need to be one. We don't need to be one organization, etc. But we can have a common platform for a common cause. So that's also important, I think. The main challenges that we face, and as I was talking about, is that for me, accepting and appreciating diversity in practice. It is common. We say Eritrea is multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multicultural. I would add it is plural, politically plural.
Sorry, can I interrupt you for 1 second? I think your slides are not coordinated with your. We only seen the first page.
Really? Okay.
Do you want to make it on a? Just play it on the screen.
Okay. Can you see it now?
If you go on the bottom of your screen on the right hand, you can see the.
You can click the display.
You make it full screen.
I see you are. You say you are sharing screen. So where should I click?
Yeah, in your PowerPoint, there is a little window by the right hand side, right here at the end. There is the display for your PowerPoint. Just
yeah, that
one.
Yeah. But I did that.
Yeah, okay, then leave it because some of the PowerPoint has got an issue.
Can you see it now?
It should come a little bit while. Yeah.
Yeah,
now it's better, I think.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Yeah, khalas, thank you. Yeah, because sometimes it takes time to synchronize. So.
Okay. So we have this problem. So we say we are diverse, etc., but we don't put it into practice. And then we have this culture of exclusion, culture of negation, and culture of some organizations, they feel they know everything and you just have to follow them. And then you have this defining Eritrea from a very narrow prism, from your ethnic point of view, from your language point of view, from your cultural point of view. But I see this has all historical roots, so if you look at them, it can help us. In my understanding, there are two main cultural components, and I am maybe a little bit oversimplifying this, what I call the Arabic Islamic, and I am talking about the elites now, which range from who advocate, who would say, for example, Eritrea is an Arab country, etc., it's an Islamic country, to those who just want to see Arabic as a language in Eritrea, one of the languages. And then I tell the Tigrinya, Christian, mainly Orthodox, Abyssinian trend, and we see it in history all the time. And this is from those who range from saying Tigrinya is the only language in Eritrea, like the Agazian, etc., to those who would like to see Tigrinya and Arabic, and to those who would like to see not Arabic, but they would like to see other Eritrean languages. So it is a prism. In between, we have a mix of ethnic and regional components, and there has always been in our history some subtle struggle between these two. And then the different migration routes, for example, Eritreans during the federation period, and afterwards, most of the highlanders went to Ethiopia, and most of the lowlanders, Muslims, went to Iran, etc. So this has also widened the gap. But there were attempts, early attempts at working together, like the Muslim League and the liberal progressive parties were really working together during the federation, during the time when we were defining our national interests. And then an independence bloc was formed in 1949 when the division of Eritrea between Sudan and Egypt and Ethiopia failed. And then after the federation, people accepted it and they formed this democratic front. And the main leaders were Ibrahim Sultan and Ras Hassan Asbaro. More recently, we had this broad alliance of Eritrean National Conference for Democratic Change held in Ethiopia in 2011. And I have learned quite a lot of things from it when people were very tense, but when they started to talk about the grievances, then things cooled down. But I'm sorry to say that this was looked like having close ties to the Wayane, and perhaps now working with the Wayane becomes simpler because Masfin Hagos is there. And then we have this Yakil and Kifaya movement at present, which is a good one. And then we have this 2020 manifesto, which was mentioned earlier. And in elements of ancient history, it is like people feel like when people talk about Eritrea, it is just about or Eritrea, Ethiopia. They talk about the Tigrinya in the north and north of Ethiopia and the Tigrinya in Eritrea. And also about this Aksumite or the precursor to the Aksumite kingdom. But we have four main groups in my division, which I call the Beja Tigre Belt, which has also history that goes from 4000 BC, which had 6 kingdoms, and it's well documented in Aliavobi and other historians from the region. Well, then we have the Afar. Maybe not many people know that they had independent sultanates, and they had 19 agreements with foreign powers. If you don't have the right to that land, you cannot make an agreement with a foreign power. And a book about this is Dr. Hashim's book, The History of the Afar. And then you have the Aksumite kingdom, which was the strongest in its time, from 100 Common Era to 700-900 Common Era. And then you have the Kunama and Nara also, where you find them in very earliest texts. So I think, and then you have other groups within those also. So I think we should appreciate and accept these histories as our own. And then I look at the role of youth and women. I have been working with youth particularly for a long time. So the Arab Spring generated a lot of Eritreans getting involved in Facebook, Paltalk rooms, radio programs, etc., robot calls, and now we have satellite TV. And one of the challenges is that people are divided by geography with varying degrees of freedom. For example, if you live in the Middle East, there is no freedom of expression, and if you live in the West, and mainly we are divided by language, Arabic and Tigrinya mainly, and the other languages. And I think we need to solve this problem. For example, if we have, like we invest on this language transmission, direct transmission, in the future we can have gadgets. So I can put my earphones and listen in Tigrinya or in Arabic or in English or whatever language we have. I think it's very important because it is limiting our contacts. And then we are divided by issues of contention, I say. Perception of a regime. Is it an ethnocratic regime? Is it a dictatorial regime? Shall we have a peaceful or any form of struggle? Shall we coordinate with Tigray because no more Ethiopia is now, or not? Shall we focus on regime change or address future Eritrea first? Shall we aim for a centralized or a decentralized state? Then there are issues of Tigrinization of the society in terms of everything is in Tigrinya. The regime says it is go wherever you go. So if you don't know Tigrinya, it will be a problem. Then we have this systematic settlements in land and refugees. I think it was raised in the other groups also. And then there is the issue of accepting 1997 constitution or not. Some people might take it as simple. Now we accept it. There are others who don't accept it. So we have to take into that account. And then the women participation is very low. And thanks, Asya has elaborated a lot on that. So I don't need to. And Asya, the Abdul Qadir Saleh and go on. So they say that the political opposition is characterized by ethnic, regional, religious fault lines, adversely affected by individual competition for power, lack of transparency and democratic organizational culture, lack of consensus on a comprehensive political roadmap. And of course, the armed struggle widened the divide. People have talked about this, so I don't need to talk a lot, but we had also some researchers who had promoted the Siyasa Forki over the years. And also we in the diaspora, I think we have promoted the dictatorship until at least 2001 through the culture of silence. And we are also in a way responsible for that. For a way forward, I say that we need to understand, recognize, and holistically appreciate our diversity. Avoid the mini Eritrea approach. We have to recognize that now the president cannot and will not reform. I think most people now agree because people had ambitions that when the border agreement between Eritrea and Ethiopia, he will open up to democracy. And that the regime had lost all legitimacy it had. And then we have to accept that the Eritrean people are the ultimate owners of their destiny. So whatever we have to present it to the Eritrean people, our products, and then they have to buy the best product. But we need also to practice our democracy in our own organizations, engage youth and women, engage positively with our neighbors. And what I say is that Mohammed, for me as an individual, I'm Mohamed Kheir Omer, but as an Eritrean, Christianity also defines my identity. I'm a Tigray speaker, but all languages, Eritrean languages define my identity. I belong to this Bija Tigray belt, but all the other historical components define my identity. So I have to accept that if I am talking at Eritrea, and then there shouldn't be any red lights that we shouldn't deal with. If you want to really solve this, I think we need to talk about this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohamed Kheir.